right, today we're being talking about the area and volume of a sphere. Here's your radius, here's your center, and then we've got, this is called your great circle, the circle of life, the great circle there. All right, on the formula chart for a sphere, for the surface area, you're going to find that the surface area is equal to 4 times pi times the radius squared. On the formula chart for volume, for a sphere, you got volume is equal to 4 times pi times the radius cubed divided by 3. All that is found on your formula chart, but there you go. Still important to write down. All right, so here we want the exact surface area. Whenever you say exact, that's just leave it in terms of pi. In your answer, surface area of a sphere with a radius of 4 centimeters. So surface area is equal to 4 pi times the radius squared. Okay, so what would that be? 64 pi. And we've got area, so that's going to be centimeters squared. Surface area, anything like that. Okay, look good? Choosing a surface area. You only have one surface area because it's the whole thing if you're going to cover it. Okay, and then it says find the exact for the volume. So volume is 4 times pi. The radius cubed divided by 3. I'll put that in my calculator. 18 to the power of 3. Anybody got that? 18 to the power of 3. 5,832, is that what y'all got? Yeah. Alright, so that's to the power of 3. And then I'm going to multiply it times 4 and then press enter. So I could put 4 times 18 to the power of 3 and then press enter. But you got to get what this is up on top and then divide by 3. So otherwise, I think it does something funky. Sometimes, not all the time. So then I'm going to divide by 3. So it might be the same thing, but it's always good to separate the two, the top from the bottom. Okay, y'all get 7,776?
Yes.
Well, good. I need to. Good to know. And then we've got centimeters cubed since it's volume. All right, looking good, looking good. All right, so we can turn to the back. This one has a diameter of 12 centimeters. That means the radius is what, Fabian? The radius is 6. We know we're going to use that in both of our formulas. So the surface area, I got to look back at that formula. Well, that's right here on my paper. Surface area is 4 pi radius squared. So that means 4 times pi times 6 squared. Figure out what that is. And then volume is 4 pi radius cubed divided by 3. 4 times 6 squared. In order of operations, we would do 6 squared, which is 36 times 4. Y'all got 144 pi? Okay, and then centimeters squared since it's surface area. And then volume is 4 pi times the radius cubed divided by 3. Figure out what that is. All right, so I could do 4 times, well, I think it comes out to be the same. 6 to the power of 3. Does it come out to be the same as 6 to the power of 3 times 4? I think it does. 864. And then divided by 3, right? Did I get 288? All right, so 288 pi. Don't forget the pi, because that's with it right here. And then we've got centimeters cubed. Okay, everything look good? Do we need to do that again? Are we okay? If we didn't look at it again, we can. Gianna, did they help you? All right, awesome. And feel free to ask me too, if y'all need to. All right, so we've got the volume looking for the surface area. So anytime you have, whether it's surface area, volume, whatever they're giving you, you got to start off with that formula and then find this one. Okay, so they've given us the volume. I Make sure I do that right. All right, so they give us the volume. I'm going to write down the full volume formula because that's what they start with. 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. Well, V stands for volume, so this right here should go underneath the volume on this side. So that's 4,000 pi over 3 is equal to 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. All right, so what do y'all think is going to happen? Let's talk about that. So the opposite of division is multiplication, which gets rid of here and here. So now I have 4,000 pi is equal to 4 pi radius cubed. All right. So all of this, what would happen next after we do division? Multiplication, right? We're still here. Opposite of multiplication is division, right? So we're going to divide both sides by 4 pi. Well, the pi's will cancel out. What's 4,000 divided by 4? Okay, so 1,000 is equal to radius cubed. Well, what's the opposite of cubed? Cube root. Okay, so opposite of cubed is cube root. Does anybody know how to find the cube root? Where that's at? Okay, look under math. Hit math. Math is right underneath the green button. Right there. Do you see cube root? What number is it? Number 4. So go to 4, press enter, or just hit number 4. And what are we going to put in there? What number are we going to put in there? 1,000. The opposite of cube is cube root. The opposite of square is square root, right? So we're doing cube root. So the opposite of cube is cube root, and then put 1,000 in. Press enter, and what do you get? Okay, so that is the answer to what? The radius, right? So the radius is 10. Now, that's not our answer. We just found the radius. Now, can we find the surface area? All right, so I'm going to use this nice little area right here. So surface area is equal to my formula of 4 pi r squared. And so I've got 4 times pi times 10 squared. What is that? 400 what? Pi and yes, units squared. Okay, are there any questions? So whatever they give you, if they start off with giving you volume, you start off with the volume formula. If they start off giving you surface area, you start off with surface area first. Okay, depending on what they're giving you. All right, so here they give me what? The surface area, we want to find volume. So what are we going to start with? The surface area, right? Yes. 4 pi r squared. It is a sphere, which we know we're going to use that formula, which all of this is sphere today. So that's going to be 4 times pi. We don't have the radius, but we do have the surface area, right? That's going to go underneath S. Y'all agree? Okay, so we have the surface area of 12 pi. Make sure I'm recording. Okay. All right, what do y'all think we're going to do? Good. Divide by 4 pi. That'll get rid of it on this side. The opposite of multiplication is division, so we're going to divide by 4 pi. The pi's will get rid of each other, and 12 divided by 4 is? Yes. So radius squared is equal to 3. What's the opposite of square? Okay, that will not simplify, so it stays as a radical of 3. That is our radius. And that's okay. It can be our radius. You've seen it before. You don't change it to decimal because that would be rounding. The square root of 3 goes on for a long time with different numbers. Okay, so leave it like that. That is our radius. So volume formula is 4 pi. We have our radius of square root of 3 cubed. I'll show you what happens there if you're not sure. Divided by 3. Make sure I have everything correct with that formula. Just looking back up here. All right, what's the square root of 3 times square root of 3 times square root of 3? That becomes the square root of?
3 squared root of 3.
Right. Yes. Well, eventually. Okay, what's 3 times 3 times 3? 27. Then you would simplify, and he's correct. That would be 3 times 3 times 3. Your doubles, you'd have, I'll write it down, just in case. I'll write it down. Just so I don't confuse anybody. Y'all agree that that's going to be the square root of 3 times 3 times 3, yes. Because 3 times 3 times 3. All of that's going to be underneath the square root. Where is he getting 3? Where does he get that this is going to simplify to 3 square root of 3? How do we know that? How many? We have a double, right? We have a double. This is square root, which means I can pull out 2 of one kind because the square root of, what's 3 times 3? 9, and the square root of 9 is 3. Okay, so then you've got 4 pi. I'm just bringing that there. Take one of those on the outside because the square root of 9 is 3. So he is correct on that. And then because this is all multiplication right here, what's 3 divided by 3? 1. Or you could say 4 times 3 is 12 divided by 3 is 4, right? Which is still going to leave you with that 4 on top, whether we cancel this out or multiply it and then divide. Which one do y'all like better? Just canceling out. It's all multiplication. But if you see that you multiply 4 times 3, which is 12, 12 divided by 3 is 4. That just basically cancels it out. And your volume is going to be 4 pi square root of 3. Is that correct? Okay, and then we've got square units, so units cubed for volume. Okay, does anybody need me to go back over that? All right, and then the last one, it says if the great circle of the sphere has a circumference. All right, so they're starting with circumference this time. You still have circumference on your formula chart, right? Don't y'all?
Yeah.
All right, so circumference is equal to, and because these two have radius in them, I'm going to go ahead and you can use pi d as long as you know how to transfer it back over to radius. But circumference is 2 pi r or pi d, either one. Circumference is 32 pi is equal to 2 pi r. Can we find the radius from here? Okay, what do we do? Okay, so divided by 2 pi on both sides. The pi's will cancel out, and 32 divided by 2 is. Okay, can y'all finish it up and tell me what the surface area is now that we have our radius? Surface area and volume. So go ahead and do that, and I'll give you a work when you're finished.